Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So just a quick note, all of my tarot readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always urge people to look at your own life and your chart to see how this speaks to you. And I urge you to watch all three so that you can get a more complete picture of how these are going to work for you. With that said, just want to say to all of my current and existing subbies, I absolutely love you. Thank you for being here, and for those of you that are new to the channel, thank you so much. And with that said, don't forget to hit the like, share and subscribe button. So I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week, you have the Chariot card, right? So this week you've got your finger on the pulse, right? And why do I say that? Because the Destiny card for this week in the weekly general, if you haven't seen it, check it out, was the Chariot card. This is going to be a fast and dynamic week for you. You're probably going to have more energy than you know what to do with. And one of the good things about that is the Chariot card gives us the energy and the passion to get stuff done, right? So use this to your advantage. One thing that I will say to you though, this week, you may be tempted to cut corners, and I would urge against that, especially because we're going into a Mercury retrograde this week in the sign of Aquarius. So just be aware of that. So with that said, I just want to give a quick announcement. If you haven't seen it yet, I have a new channel that is solely dedicated to meditations and guided visualizations. It's called ReyLaxation, and you can hit the link in the description box to find that. So for your actions and options this week, you have the High Priestess coupled with the Chariot card, right? So this is a lot of Cancerian energy actually that comes up for you. And one of the things is with the High Priestess, this is about a hidden thing revealed. This week you are going to feel moved to share something with somebody. Now this could be with the world, it could be with a friend, with a loved one, with a partner. There's something that you're ready to divulge to the world this week, or maybe just something that you're ready to get off your chest. It could be something as small and simple as, you know what, I don't like the way so-and-so does this, right through to, you know what, I've been carrying this for a long time and I finally feel ready to speak to somebody about it. This would be a great week for you to speak to a counselor or a therapist of some sort, but it would just as easily be a great week for you to see a psychic, a mystic, an astrologer, a tarot reader, a numerologist, anyone that is in that sort of spiritual or psychic kind of occult type wisdom world, right? And because this is your actions and your options, this is probably you sharing something or looking to understand something that maybe you haven't talked about up until now. Now, on another level, this literally speaks to you having a very keen intuition this week. Pay attention to whatever spiritual intuitive hits that you get, because they're going to be very relevant for you this week. For your communications and conversations, you have the Six of Wands, right? So this is literally you communicating at a distance, and it's really interesting that this comes up because this week you're acting on your intuition. It's like you get a hit, you get an understanding, I'm going to do that, boom, and you go off in that direction. It's kind of like intuit and go, intuit and go. It's going to be really fast this week, but like I said, you may be tempted to cut corners. Don't do that, right? Do it properly. Stick to being a Taurus. I know Uranus is in your sign, and you're being all zany and new and doing things in different ways, which is really exciting. But try to keep it on brand, right? Don't, evolve your brand. Don't just throw it out and then say, right, well, I was a dancer and now I'm going to be, or maybe like I was a construction worker and now I'm going to go and be a ballet dancer. Do you know what I mean? Like keep it in the same vein. Like, yes, make changes and do things in dynamic ways. Just keep true to who you are. And Taurus is not known for cutting corners. It's a very steady steady sign. This week, because of the fast and dynamic energy, there might be a temptation to do that, so try to curb that. Now, communications are going to be, actually, considering we're going into that Mercury retrograde, communications are actually going to be quite good for you. Your Six of Wands does suggest that you may this week be making some sort of, now for a lot of places this is going to be metaphorical, but you could be connecting to people at a distance this week, and the reason being is because you're building something for the future. Now, when it comes to your for those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is great. It looks like there is either news or talk of a promotion or a step forward in some way, shape or form. For some of you, you could be like literally you could, some project could come up this week and you could be saying, actually, you know what, I would like to lead that. I'd like to be a part of that right at the forefront. For those of you that work for yourselves, business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, again, this is just really great. It looks like you're going to get something that is what I would call like a run-on extension. So maybe you get a new client and they end up bringing you a whole bunch of work rather than just whatever it is that you initially connected to them for, which is lovely, right? And then for those of you that are retired or no longer working for any reason, this is a week to really get clear on what your skills are. What is your brilliance? What do people need to know about you? Where are you ready, willing and able to share with people just how damn brilliant that you are? This is the week, right? This is a week for it. For your money and materials, you've got the Eight of Swords. So this week, I'm sorry to say, my darlings, but it does look like you've got that champagne taste with that beer money. Okay, and I will say this to you with the Eight of Swords, you may want to do more than your budget is going to allow this week. So just be really cautious when it comes to what you're doing with your finances, all right? Because, you know, especially with this energy, because it's kind of like, yeah, here, you know, where I'm at. You're doing this and your bank account's like, you know, it can be one of those moments. So just be aware of that this week. Now, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, your Eight of Swords is literally your kidneys and your lower back and all of that kind of area. Now, remember, when I give these kind of indications of health, it's not me saying you will definitely have this wrong this week. It's not. It's just kind of like a heads up to say if you are going to have any issues or challenges, that's likely where it's going to be in the body. And also, because you know this, like if you know that, okay, so potentially like I might be having some kidney stuff, I need to start looking at how much water I'm taking. I need to maybe reduce my coffee intake. Do you know what I mean? Like there are things that you can do in advance. Now, I'm not a medical professional, I can't give you that kind of advice, but if I can tell you, you know, forewarned is forearmed. And then for your home and environment, for those of you that are in lockdown this week, I have to say it does look like it's starting to grate. And if that is the case, find ways to get out of your, find ways to get out of your head. Because sometimes the worst prison that you can be in is your own mind. All right, so find ways to expand out of where you are. And then, finally, for your love and relations, you have the Hanged Man, right? So look at this, right? You got all this fast dynamic energy, and then here we go, the Hanged Man's kind of like, okay, slow it down. All right, so for those of you that are single, I'm going to be really honest with you, the aesthetic of a person or a connection might actually be nicer than the connection itself. So just something for you to be aware of. It's really interesting as well because you've got a lot of water here. You've got the Chariot card, you've got the High Priestess, and you've got the Hanged Man. So that's like a lot of water this week. So just be aware of that. And interestingly enough, you have no fire. So maybe that's the element, which I suppose in a way is probably a good thing because, you know, you've already got a lot of energy. Maybe you don't need any more. For those of you that are partnered or in relationships, this is about finding time for you to do something just as a couple, especially those of you that have kids. You know, if you maybe you haven't had a date in a long time, or maybe you haven't had time to spend with each other, it's also going to be a time where remember, your Hanged Man can sometimes be about self-sacrifice. Where is it that maybe some of your big sort of dynamic plans to conquer the world could maybe be put on the back burner for an hour or two while you pamper your partner. All right. Other than that, I actually think this is going to be a really good week for you, and try to, whatever you do, try to make sure that it doesn't cost too much. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.